Tisha wasn't expecting Destiny to have them little viral moments, if you will. So when everybody was clipping the scenes of Destiny giving it to Tisha ass, I don't think Tisha really liked that. That was kind of pissing her off. That made it real for her. That's what happened when they promote you on the show. In my opinion, the only thing Destiny had was her mother being on. Yeah, she brought her mother on. I don't know. I guess she called herself being a little more vulnerable, doing that kind of stuff. And that just goes to speak into the talking point of Carlos and him. Really, we always knew that he liked the Scots more and he was helping them like protect themselves under the guise of protecting their marriage. But yeah, I don't know. Carlos is allowing them to get away with too much. And then the whole thing at the reunion when Destiny said that Tisha told her, I either fight with you or I divorce Marceau. I do believe Tisha said that. And I believe what Tisha meant by that. These are my opinions. I believe that they were presented with the option. Now, y'all already know all that stuff that went down with Martell. So we can just get into that since we on the topic of Tisha. That Carlos and the producers gave them the option to either talk about what happened with Martell or they would have to come up with another storyline, which brings us to Marceau and Tisha. They whole little storyline of basically season one, but a little bit reversed of Tisha wanting to be in the workplace, wanting her office, and then him saying she needs to be a stay-at-home mom. We already know Marceau has always said that on camera since season one. That was his storyline. He didn't want to be a power couple. He wanted his wife at home. And now they're kind of like bringing that story, reheating they own old nachos because they don't want to talk about what Martell said. So like it's no reason Carlos should have let the Scots dance around this. Martell busted them out on social media. Not only did he accuse Tisha of sleeping with this man that he has in these pictures, but he also did an interview with a woman, him and Ariane, where they called the Scott brothers out for having sex with that lady. So like if this is supposed to be reality TV, how is Carlos letting them get out of talking about this? Now it is a certain way that they could have handled things, but just to outright let them say no, we're gonna avoid that altogether. That's him like cheapening the show. It's reality TV. We know it ain't that much cheaping need to be done to it. But that's really them like just not having to bring all of this play out on social media between your cast members and y'all not discuss it at all. Like Carlos didn't even ask Tisha, who is this man? Who is this man? Because Martell didn't let this man face be seen and plastered on social media. He broke it. He broke the story. He brought it to social media. He got this man face clearly showing. So obviously Martell was ready to be accountable. Because like, what if that man would have got mad? So like Carlos didn't hit on this at all. He didn't ask them no type of tough questions. He's always allowing them to just punk out of the situations. And it's not about not wanting to ruin their marriage. This is their reality. This is what's going on. They talked about other people cheating. They still talk about Marcel, and Carlos don't even mention it. Like what type of producer, showrunner, like who does that? Why were the Scots allowed to not talk about that at all? And then for him to ask the wives the same shit he been asking them at every reunion. Do y'all believe y'all husbands cheated? And for them to say no, you could have kept that. You've asked them that so many times. So it's like, what's the point? So I want to pull up this video from Martell interview. Just this quick, let me pull it up. A little clip from when they were interviewing the lady, and Ariane had busted out that she knows someone else that Marceau has slept with, and Tisha know as well. So that's the whole thing. So how would them discussing this on the show break up their marriage? Because I very much believe Kimmy and Letitia both know, like for sure know, in my opinion, that their husbands are not faithful to them. I think it's something that they have an understanding between each other, and Ben had an understanding between each other about infidelity. And I don't know why they just didn't come out and say that they have this type of understanding. Maybe they scared to be judged by other people. Everybody around y'all know, and they have these type of receipts to where Ariane says, "Yeah, I was on the phone with Tisha, and Tisha was telling the lady that Marcel was she with to just don't say certain stuff. I guess they was trying to prepare her to, if she do speak on it, for her not to say certain stuff, I guess, about their encounters." Where is this doggone video? And so for Carlos to completely bypass this is bull. Like a respectful woman. Okay, wait. And you notice the Scott man never said the women wasn't there. Exactly. And then the lady had like details. She like, we was at the Caesar Palace, and so I believe it. But Ariane, let's listen to what Ariane said, because the lady said, remember when the lady said she thinks like Tisha is crazy, and Ariane basically called Tisha weak sauce. Like, girl, Tisha ain't crazy. Tisha slow. She like, girl, what you talking about? Tisha ain't gonna do shit.
Predicament to be hard with knowing that your wife is low-key kind of crazy. Why do you think his wife is low-key kind of crazy? Because I think she's slow.
Let's say that.
Crazy and slow is not the same thing, Marcel. Tisha not gonna step. I feel like if that lady knew me and she had any type of access to me, she wouldn't be doing anything. I've been on the phone with another woman who has had an affair with Marcel. Tisha up here talking to her, telling her, please don't say certain things. She crazy like what? Because what do you get from that? Because I get slow.
So it's pretty obvious that they fucking know. So they just don't want to talk about the cheating. And so in order to not talk about the cheating, they make it seem like they don't know and that they don't want to discuss the topic, because then if they find out, oh, we're going to leave. And then there you guys have just destroyed another black marriage. That shit is all bullshit. They know exactly what they do and they don't care. They've established that already. So when Nell and Kimmy is on there fighting, first of all, Kimmy been rubbing me the wrong way. But she got so much smoke for everybody else except for Maurice. And she just feel like all the women on the cast supposed to bow down to her for some unspoken reason. Like, it's like when Kimmy talking, everybody better shut up and listen. But y'all better watch how y'all respond to me. That's the energy she give off and how she try to talk to them, which is why Nell told her, bitch, you not my mama. Because, like, who are you to sit here and think that you HBIC? Like, can't nobody respond to you. Can't nobody raise their voice at you. But you can threaten people. You can raise your voice at people. You can insert yourself in people's business. And you still in the right. And you still get to check the person that you're arguing with. So Kimmy is just a fucking weirdo. That's why Maurice was looking at her dumb as fuck when she was sitting up there trying to explain that is an unforgivable thing if he cheats and she's gonna leave. That's why he was looking at her, because he knew her ass was lying. Tisha sitting here and is gonna say, when she was arguing with Destiny, y'all, Tisha gonna say she fought for her to get back on the show. She called Carlos, but you was the main one trying to get Kiki put off the show, your own cousin. And not only that, you talking about you fighting for Destiny harder than you fighting for your mama. At that point in time, like, how you fighting for an outsider to get a check fat harder than you fighting for your own mama? They just don't want to live up to what they told Mel. They made it appear they wouldn't tolerate issue in their marriage, which is a lie. Never judge someone in a marriage because you don't know what you would do Yeah, and at that point, but the whole thing, even at the point they was giving Mel all that bullshit, I believe they absolutely 100% knew. I believe they knew already. And they didn't like Mel, and that's why they treated her the way they treated her. They just didn't like her. And so any little thing they could arm themselves with to throw at her, any jabs, they were going to take it. And so that's why they treated Mel. But I think even at that point, I think they knew the niggas they was dealing with. And so when Nell was ready. Nell was ready to say something to them because she like, yeah, these bitches got me fucked up. They not gonna treat me how they treat everybody else. Because when they was talking to Destiny, Nell couldn't wait to her time. She like, yeah, let me get on, slide on through here and tell these bitches something. But she was 100% right. They've been trying to gang up on everybody, and we know it's the Scots together against everybody else. That's their pack. It's just like, don't insert yourself then. Y'all are grown adults. If Tisha is arguing and going around picking fights with every fucking body because she don't want to face the truth on national television that her husband cheats, then let her do that arguing and fighting by herself, Kimmy, because you know her ass lying too. Stop inserting yourself when Tisha is having an argument with somebody, because you did it on the show when you told Neil you would dunk her in the pool. And if I was Neil, I would have made you live up to them words. Live up to the words, because come over here and show me you can dunk me in this pool. In my opinion, they definitely had a pack with Martell too. Yeah, after a while, I think they included Martell too, because y'all, when the first what reunion was that? Was it the first reunion when Mel was pregnant with Sugar Mama and she wore the gold dress and it kind of looked like they were gonna work through and stay together, her and Martell. They were calling Martell was calling the Scots out. And that was the reunion where Marceau was so fucking mad. And you can tell Marceau was so scared because he was so mad at Tisha, he made Tisha cry. He sat there the whole time. Go watch that reunion. I think it was the first reunion when Mel had the gold dress and she was pregnant. And they were beefing with the Scots because all the little cheating stuff. So that probably was what, the second reunion. But Marceau was sitting on that couch, his face was fucking frowned up that entire time. He did not want to say anything that would trigger Martell to basically telling on him. He was so mad that Tisha was arguing with them. He immediately was like, you just need to shut up, don't talk to them. Maurice had to come and check his brother. Because that's when Maurice was defending Tisha more than fucking Marceau. And Destiny was right. Her husband has never fucking defended her. He was fighting with her and mad at her and using reverse psychology against her ass, acting like he just mad and he's above the fighting, when really he didn't want Martell to fucking tell it, and she was over there provoking Martell. Why when Dusty told Kimmy to start at the beginning and don't start in the middle like you always say, why did that trigger her so much? Because she just took it up a few notches after that. And she just really, that's why I said she thinks she HBIC and everybody supposed to kiss the ring and bow down to the queen. Because why you feel like these grown ass women can't say nothing to you when you are inserting yourself in their drama that has nothing to do with you and you're not being neutral about it? So I can say whatever the fuck I want to say to you. And as soon as Nell, tell her, because she gonna tell Nell, oh bitch, you don't got no grace to give me. You right. Don't nobody have no grace to give your ass. If anybody give you grace, you're gonna turn around and give it all to your muscle head ass husband. You don't have grace for nobody but your husband. You be coming at these women foul, talking like you people can't say anything or can't respond back to you. Y'all gaslight them. Y'all try to lie and manipulate them. And I'm telling y'all, them years of being with them musclehead, baldhead ass men has really turned them into some manipulating, gaslighting ass women. Because that's all they do. They don't defend themselves against their husband. They turn around and use that shit right back on the women that's on the cast. Hey Tay. She said, "Yep, that's why he told her she could only shut the fuck up." Yes, he had Tisha crying, and he was sitting there the whole reunion with this fucking mug on his face, looking mad because he didn't want nobody. He thought he was intimidating motherfuckers. He didn't want Carlos to ask him no question. He didn't want Martell to tell on him. He didn't want Tisha to provoke Martell into telling any more details. He was so mad. And when Martell, Maurice addressed him like, this your wife. Y'all supposed to be. He like, she needs to shut the fuck up. Like, shit, she just needs to sit here and look mad like me, I guess. He want her to sit there and mean mug from across the couch like him. And Kimmy is sitting up there, Nell got it right. Like, bitch, you basically be yelling at everybody, inserting yourself in people's business. You threatened me. You said you were going to dunk me in the pool. And here go motherfucking Carlos trying to throw Kimmy a life jacket and bring up her dad. And as soon as she hear the word dad, Kimmy about to turn into a fucking weeping willow. Like, girl, acting like she's just so triggered about yelling. Meanwhile, we done watched her be very close to Martell, be very close to her own fucking husband, all while they yelling and screaming and talking shit. And she there with a stuck face. We never watched her get triggered. We never watched her leave out the room because she just can't stand to see people bicker and argue. Like, Kimmy, you don't even back down from a motherfucking argument. You are very combative and confrontational. Kimmy thought saying bitch was going to scare Nell. Nell was like, bitch, I can cuss too. Exactly. And I know Nell has so much more for Kimmy. I feel like they kind of cut some stuff out with the arguments because they kind of moved on from the arguments kind of quick, even with Destiny. And then Destiny tried to, while I said she was trying to reel it in, because yes, she told that shit about Tisha, but then she tried to reel it in with Kimmy when what Carlos asked her, he asked her something about, is Kimmy always basically like rah-rah with people, and Destiny like, oh yeah, like she does it so eloquently. No, that bitch don't. No, she don't. Kimmy is the type of person, she thinks she's the smartest motherfucker in the room. And she also thinks that she's, I don't know, like she's just this scary ass bitch that everybody supposed to bow down to, like, oh, Kimmy mad, get out her way. And I kind of think she got that from the friend group, because if y'all remember when they first came on, they used to pump Kimmy head up like, oh, Kimmy is kind of like the straight shooter. She'll go after people with her mouth. She got a slick mouth. And the men used to pump her up about it. And you can kind of tell that the pick me in her would show out when she was around the men, because she felt like that made her somebody in their eyes. Like that put her above the other women when it came to the men. And you could tell she's the type to show out when she got her little crowd, especially the men. Because they used to say it all the time, Kimmy gonna tell her how it is. Kimmy will straight you. Oh, they don't want no beef with Kimmy and stuff. And that's kind of how she walks around and how she handles all the other women. Because everybody keeps saying she did not like Tisha. We remember when she said that and she admitted that. And then her husband got on her motherfucking ass and she done been glued to her back pockets ever since. She's been there for every fucking battle, every argument, everything. And not only is she there, now she's speaking up and she's gonna insert herself and she's gonna flat out lie for this bitch. And it's like, Kimmy, you the main one that just need to sit back. Like, have several seats. And you notice even then Maurice was trying to make Marcel and Martell make up because he didn't want Martell to tell his shit. Yes, he was trying to play the peacemaker and be neutral. And you could just tell he was trying to get it. He's like, bro code. He was trying to remind them of bro code. That was Maurice, big fat frat boy wannabe ass was trying to do. He was trying to remind them of bro code. But see, Martell knew that all that shit was out the window because how they did him. And he told it. Like, y'all was laughing every time something had to do with me and my wife or what was going on with me. Y'all was laughing at me. Y'all was making snarky comments. Y'all was talking shit, trying to make it seem like, oh, Martell is just the dumbest guy in the world. He blew up his life. He did this to his marriage when we all know the Scots was happy. The men especially, and even the women, because they didn't like Mel. So the women were happy because they didn't like Mel, and the men were happy because they were jealous of Martell. He had the better life out of all of them. Him and Mel were way more successful out the couples. And so the men were slightly jealous of that. And they wanted to see Martell self destruct. And they also were a bunch of cheaters. So it's like they definitely had a lot of shit to say about Martell. And he should have been exposed their ass for real, for real. I wonder why Cass Queen didn't bring up that Tisha and Martell was gay. Yes, Tay, that's why I was finna say we really don't. That's why when Nell, when Carlos asked Nell, do you believe it? And she's like, oh, these are people marriages we talk about. Now they already fucking know. That's why every time it come up, they hold their breath. Go look at Kimmy and Tisha face every time they asking somebody else or somebody else is talking about the cheating from the Scots. Look how they holding their breath over there, just stuck in the same position. While the men and Marceau just throw out a bunch of word salad and a bunch of um distractions and shit and talk about other stuff and try to redirect the conversation. And Maurice is always sitting over there looking like a fucking jack-o'-lantern with a smile on his face, trying to just laugh everybody through it. It's like they are so fucking weird. I just do not like the Scots, and I don't know why Carlos is just allowing these people to play in everybody's face because everybody know it's fucking fake. Everybody knows it's bullshit, and he keeps calling Tisha the fucking rich wife, and these motherfuckers ain't got shit. Like, we seen the house, we've seen Tisha and them house, and we've seen the inside after they remodel. They is not rich, okay? And Carlos knows this. Like, they was borrowing a car when they started the show from Martell and Mel. They are not rich. That house is damn near old as Wanda, and it still ain't finished. They are not rich. Tisha was on social media basically begging Target to, give her a sponsorship or some type of brand deal. They are not rich. Like, what are y'all talking about? What are you talking about, Carlos? Talking about this life Marceau has motherfucking built for her. What the fuck? He didn't build them shit. He built them a fucking fort. That's what he built them. Like, quit playing in our face. Do not get up here and play in our face like we ain't watched the Scots. I'm not watching them now, but yeah, we seen the first few seasons. Kimmy definitely has selective memory. Yeah, they all do. You would think she would be triggered by the way Maurice talks to her, okay? She should be triggered by the way he just there existing next to her. Dad yelling, but Martell been yelling since season one. She was never phased. Exactly, because she was never going to leave. Just like Buckethead ass. Tisha was never going to let CK did. Say they had to edit some of the argument between Kimmy and Neil. You can tell. But Martell ends up making up to them get played. And then y'all know what? I think that's another reason. I believe the fact because Martell didn't really have a storyline. And I believe he was going to make that interview and busting out the Scots and talking about that and fighting with them about that, his storyline. But I believe because Carlos King decided to protect the Scots once again, he also turned down Martell, and I think Martell was a little bit mad about that. And I think that's why Martell has made little cameos over there on Bell Collective Birmingham. I think that was kind of like a trade-off or an incentive for not taking his storyline and running with it on Love and Marriage Huntsville. This is why I can't with any of them because they don't go low like they do with them. Expose them. I want Martell to go live again outside of on cameras. He probably would have if it got to that point. And then that's another thing Tisha bitch ass gonna sit here and this how you know she just bullshitting and just trying to avoid the real issues because you're gonna sit up here and say Destiny didn't have your back when Martell was saying all that stuff about you. Girl, Destiny was there by her fucking self. And Tisha, not only did you have your bald head ass husband, you had his bald head ass brother and his strong face ass wife. Like your in-laws was there and motherfucking your husband was there. Why the fuck would Destiny need to step in to help you in any type of verbal altercation with a man, mind you? You wanted Destiny to stand up against a man for verbally attacking you according to you, because all he really was doing was calling out your shit and exposing you. Why didn't your husband stand up for you? Why didn't your motherfucking brother-in-law stand up for you? Like, girl, get the fuck out of here. They are weird. They all are weird. But hey, it's the Scots against the world. They don't care who they gotta beef with, who they gotta throw under the bus, who they gotta lie on. As long as it's not one of the four of them, they are gonna back each other. And you can tell they just be coming up with stupid shit off their head. They be looking surprised, like like how Maurice was looking at Kimmy. He almost thought they was on a fucking game of Family Feud. It was like he was finna bust out and say, "Good answer, good answer." Like, man, sit y'all ass down. Y'all be up here just lying out y'all fucking necks, and it's just Carlos just allowed. He just sit there. He's like, Tisha, you don't want to sit and enjoy this life he's built for you. Carlos, he ain't built shit for this girl, and y'all know it. And Tisha has always seemingly worked behind the scenes. So why y'all keep trying to make it seem like she's not working? Marcel can't, I mean, not Marcel. Marcel can't take care of his damn self, let alone a family of fucking five. We know Tisha has always worked behind the fucking scene. They may not do too much work, but we know they need that two-parent income. No motherfuckers ain't doing that off no one income. Marcel ain't building shit. He ain't even building their own fucking house. And he's the fucking builder. Nell still tries to give grace. Just like she tried to say, I plead the fifth. Yeah, Destiny too. They all still try to give them grace and stuff. And it's like, I don't know why. They fucking know about the cheating. Bitch, you had a whole husband there. And his bald head ass brother. Like, girl, but you think Destiny supposed to jump in between and jump up and be your number one fucking super saver hoe? It's alleged two new couples are coming on for the new season, in my opinion, that allows the others to have something to deflect on. Yeah, because they're gonna focus on them because Destiny doesn't have a storyline anymore. Danny Cloud, she doesn't want. Yeah, because that allows their ass to sit up there, and now they're gonna focus on the other people. But honestly, he need to get rid of Trish and them too. This bitch can't even remember the storyline that production is giving her, apparently. Like, they was on them. Their storyline was all of 2 fucking seconds. Like, get them off the show. They ain't bringing nothing. She don't want to pick a side. She don't have an opinion on nothing. Trish ass. She just sitting up there, lockjawed, looking dumb as fuck, looking like she just bored with the whole thing but needs the money. Because it's like, why are you always so fucking confused? She can't never just flat out answer a question. She's not remember what she's saying on camera. Because how you gonna say you spent the block on the ex but then you didn't really spend the block on them? Like, girl, get your shit together. Like, you done had all this time to prepare and rehearse for this little fucking reunion, and you can't even remember your little storylines from the fucking show. uh, I can't. He got to get them off. If you gonna avoid the Scott storyline, he needs to get one of them off too. And I say Kimmy and Maurice out of the two. Oh shit! At least we see that Tisha and Marceau corny ass is the motherfucking dedicated to bringing the lies and the bullshit. Because at least they would try to act some shit out and try to roll with another storyline. Marceau sitting up there like he's in deep fucking reflection on the stage, and then the camera zoomed in on him. I just knew he was finna drop a tear or some shit. This nigga just, I couldn't take him serious. I could not take him serious at all. Right, Martell wouldn't have been able to say shit because Marcel and his brother was supposed to be whipping Martell ass at the field day. Exactly. And one moment I heard they were not coming back. Then I heard they were speaking on King Trish. They are definitely not needed. They are not. Like, he had them as some little fucking placeholders. They don't even care much to give them much of a storyline. Trish can't remember much, so they trying to keep it simple with her ass. And yeah, she needs to just go sit down too. Marceau in business with other men because he's lazy as hell. He definitely lazy as hell. And apparently he's too much of a fuck up to properly outsource motherfucking shit. Because with that Zen garden shit, they was fucking up equipment. They was building shit the wrong dimensions. They like you can't even be trusted to outsource the fucking work. Like they all need to sit the fuck down at this point. I don't know what the fuck they got going over there. And but then when I seen that they all, because they like those men are just ridiculous. Like they such manipulators. It's crazy. And then y'all, what was so funny? Because I just seen like somebody I was they was talking about DDG, and I seen that he was from the same place in Michigan that the Scott brothers are from. And y'all know DDG had that whole shit going on with his baby mama, Holly. So it's like, damn, is all the men up there like on this type of crazy manipulating, gaslighting shit? Because they all from what they where they from? Man, what's the name of that city, y'all? In Michigan. I want to say Pontiac, but I don't know if that's it. But yeah, when I seen that, I'm like, hold up, he from the same place as the fucking Scott brothers. Okay, yeah. I was like, oh, he from the same place as them. Does that fucking just run in the veins of men up that way? Cause how the hell y'all all some goddamn manipulating ass, gaslighting ass, terrible ass motherfuckers? Yes, they are all fools up here. Say, oh Lord, we got to send y'all sisters some help up there. We got to send y'all some help, honey. Cause I don't know how Kimmy and them can survive that type of psychological warfare. They would have been Maurice, Marcel, both of them would have been ran me off, especially since they not even fucking attractive. Like y'all just putting up with some bullshit just because y'all really just want to say y'all got a husband. Cause lady, you can't tell me these niggas, they don't look the part. They personalities, they ain't got no type of personalities. They all immature as fuck. Mm-mm. You see why Cookie got a daddy and several stepdaddies. I know that's right, Tay. Keep your options open, baby. Because if they playing like how the Scots is, yeah, you got to outmaneuver them. Cause there's no way I'll be able to deal with them. They can't run that bullshit on the woman up here. I bet they can't. They went and got some desperados. She said, now I can see Marcel getting ladies because he's funny. And he's just a little bit funny. He's not really that funny to me. Like, he ain't never really gave me no good stomach crunching laugh. You know what I'm saying? This little stuff he done said here and there. He done had little stuff, may got a little chuckle. But he's really not that funny. He ain't laugh a bitch out of draws funny. He ain't that funny to me. He think he is, but he's not. I don't know. I kind of just find him more corny than anything. And then once you find a man corny, it's kind of hard to unsee that. And so, I'm not saying they ugly because they not ugly, but I don't think they're attract that attractive either. They're mid, like and I think both Tisha and Kimmy could have did better than them. And then y'all know another thing I thought of, and this is just my opinions. I don't watch either one of the shows. I don't watch Love and Marriage Huntsville or I don't watch Bell Collective. But y'all know how these around about Ariane supposed to be coming on the show and stuff. If Carlos King was smart, he would have put Ariane on Bell Collective Birmingham. And then did he should have did some crossover episodes between Bell Collective Birmingham and Love and Marriage Huntsville, with Martell still being a main cast member on Love and Marriage Huntsville, and Ariane and Stormy being main cast members over there on Bell Collective Birmingham. I still wouldn't have watched it, but I feel like that would have boosted up their little ratings and kind of got Bell Collective Birmingham out there a little more. But I noticed with Carlos, he don't really put too much thought into his shit. He's more of the let's throw a bunch of random motherfuckers together and just film them and hope some magic pop off. That's what Carlos gives me with his shows. That would have been a good idea, especially since her and Stormy know each other. Exactly, Tay. So these ladies, y'all. So I've been wanting to come and hit real quick on Angela Oakley and Shamea because ever since I saw the clip of them sitting down and them going at it a little bit because Shamea said that Angela's husband is always outside and he don't never want to be at home with her. And then Angela said, baby, every time he outside, you outside. Because you out there fucking with somebody. You out there fucking on somebody. And Angela said she heard through the grapevine, somebody told her that Shamea was out here creeping. So, what did y'all think about that? Do y'all think it was some truth to that? And so, since I didn't come up and speak on that clip when it dropped, Carlos just did an interview with Shamea. And I did sit there and I watched the whole interview, y'all. I watched the whole interview with Shamea. And Carlos, he just, I don't know, he was so fucking giddy in the beginning. And I find that Carlos is always real giddy with the girls that he feels like, I feel like he's always real happy and giddy towards the girls that have the life that he would want if he was a woman, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Because he was all touchy, touchy, feely, and giddy with Shamea. And you know, her house is beautiful as hell. So he's walking in the house and he's looking around and stuff. And you know, he go talk to her mom a little bit. And then they sit down and they start. And Shamea does have a great voice. She sung, they got on the piano and she sung. She has a very, very beautiful voice. And singing is definitely her thing, child. She inspired Carlos to think he was gonna do a little 1 2 1 2. He should have kept that to himself. He should have kept that to himself. And then they sit down and Shamea had asked no, Shamea invited Carlos to come to her. I believe they're going to do a vow renewal. And, you know, she told Carlos that he is invited. Why this man immediately go into how this can benefit him? I thought Carlos was rumored to have him a little man. But he sure was asking Shamea, is somebody going to be there for him? Baby, Carlos heard that Shamea out here hooking her friends up. He said he going to try to get him one. Yeah, he ain't like, nigga, is you coming to support me and my husband, or are you coming to scope the scene to try to snatch you up one? Because why, when I invite you to my fucking shit, you immediately asking me about is somebody gonna be there for you? Like, pipe down, Carlos. Calm down a little bit, okay? And so Carlos and Shamea start talking. He says that like Shamea has always had this kind of like big personality. He's called her a busybody and stuff, and like, you know, she's always been a little bit all over the place and stuff like that. And Shamea said, you know, she can't be nobody but her. And hold on, what she said? Oh, she said she can't be anybody but her, but she feels like she's misunderstood. And so Shamea, when in my opinion, when I'm watching Shamea, she does seem like someone that has a big personality. She's fun, she's funny, you know, she kind of spontaneous, but I feel like she's almost in a sense of performing. And I feel like what makes her give off that she's performing is because she's so in a rush to kind of like give the viewers all of her, if that makes sense. Like, it's like she's overly ready and excited to try to like show every little thing about her personality, as if it's like, oh, they're gonna love me once they just see this, you know, they're gonna like me once they see this. And I do believe she went into the filming as wanting to be like a fan favorite and somebody that the audience gravitates to. But I think like she went about it wrong. Instead of like coming in and yeah, you can be funny, you can be quirky, you can do all this stuff and be fun. But instead of like, showing that and letting the viewers get to know her gradually, it's like, no, I can do this. I do this. I'm talented. I'm smart. I'm pretty. I'm rich. I got this. My house is this big. It's like, look at me. I got all these things. Like she's checking off the box lists what all the it girls have. And because I have all this and more, then I'm the it girl. That's how it comes off to me. What y'all say? Yeah, I believe it. Shamea is too extra, and it's for a reason. She is. He does too much fangirl. He does, and it's always, especially with the ladies of Real Housewives, because they actually live that life. They're in the mix of it out there in Atlanta amongst the stars, the athletes, the people with money. And then they have the girls, they look good because he loves him some Portia. You know what I'm saying? He loves all the girls that are beautiful and have it going on. And I believe that's because that's kind of what he would want to be if he were a woman. That's kind of how he sees himself. So he does a lot of fangirling over them. Love, love, Key. Liza says, I just can't understand why a woman wants attention and fame so bad when all the women around her would love to be in her shoes. Because she's always been chasing fame. That's what we're going to get into, too. Shamea is a prime example of having everything, and that's still not enough. Exactly. She's always on. Yes, she is. And I think it really does bother her. And she says she's misunderstood. And sometimes with people who feel misunderstood, they kind of have a tendency to go above and beyond to try to prove people wrong or show people that, oh, I'm not what you think, I'm this, I'm that. And it's like, girl, no, fuck them. Like, you're not going to be everybody cup of tea. So I feel like she gives off performative, and a lot of people, a lot of fans have called her fake. And I think that's why, because she does come off as performative, and she comes off as just like, I'm doing too much because I want y'all to know I'm this, I'm fun, I'm pretty, I'm this, I got this, I got it all. So it's just like she wants everybody to like her. And so why I believe the comment that Angela made, because I do believe that Shamea loves her life. But like somebody said, like she want her cake and she want to eat it too. Because let's be real, Gerald, I do not believe that if her husband was unable to provide her with the lifestyle that she has, I do not believe she would have chose him, or she would have married him, or she would have sought him, or I don't believe that would have been her type if the benefits weren't there. And y'all, I got my notes because this was like almost 2 hours of an interview. So I had to write my stuff to keep me on point. And then let's see. Oh, they got to talking about the peach when she was offered the peach, and she said she feel like her getting her peach cost her friendship, and then now it may cost her a job. And so it spoke to the fact that she, Gerald must have asked her. But my thing is, if Angela made that comment about you possibly sleeping with the players, why would that rattle your husband just because one person on the show said it? If your husband has a problem with the job that you have been on and working, because she's been a host, Shamea has been with that team period for like over 20 years. She did like 10, 11 years as a cheerleader, and then she turns around now, she is like a in-home or whatever they call it host for the Atlanta Hawks, whatever they is. So she's been with this company essentially over 20 years. Why would your husband have an issue with your job just because a bitch that's on a show with you threw some shade and said that you possibly sleeping with players? I feel like if anything is costing your job, it's because there had to be other rumors floating around, and there had to already be seeds planted in Gerald's head in regards to you cheating. Because you're very wealthy, like you like to remind people. And yes, although you've been with them for a very long time, a lot of people do want to know why you continue to work when you're that wealthy. And it's just like, I know people do have to have hobbies, they have to have passions, and a lot of people are well off in life and don't have to work, and some of them still choose to work. But it's like the type of work that Shamea does, I don't know. It just feel like she could have been running her own businesses. She could have had a more chill work life than what she's doing. But I do believe that that goes to the point that her jobs and her chasing fame is intentional. And I think Shamia was very intentional with the jobs that she took because she knew they would put her in the rooms with people that would essentially get her fame, or kind of be like the stepping stones to that fame. So her being the cheerleader, because she also reminded us that she was signed right out of school, out of high school. She was signed to, she had a record label. It didn't really, go anywhere, and she didn't get big off of it, but she was signed straight out of high school. Okay, so then you go from being signed, and then you're in college, and you go to being a professional cheerleader and stuff like that. So it's like she was very intentional on what she wanted, and it seems like Shamia has always wanted fame. And so if Gerald wants you to leave your job, I feel like it had to be because rumors were already swirling around town. You know, what do I think? Shamia's at every home game. Yeah, I think she's like they're basically in home or whatever they call it, like hoster, like for the Atlanta. So anytime, um, I guess they have a game at their arena, she's the host and stuff. And also, she tried to make it seem like Angela just was so wrong. Like, unless they edited it differently, Shamia opened the door for that. Angela was not wrong. If it happened how it happened in that clip where Shamia hit first, saying that this woman's husband is not at home because he's avoiding her and he's out doing him, then bitch, if you speak on my marriage in any kind of capacity, you do know that I can speak on yours. Fair is fair. You know what I'm saying? You can't try to make it seem like Angela was so wrong for speaking on your marriage when you spoke on hers. It doesn't matter. It's because the word on the curve is that she has been doing a little dabbling in the player pool. And I can believe it. Like I said, Shamia strikes me as a person that is very much love in love with her life, but not so loving the person that provides her life. I really don't think she is. And she likes it because of course she likes the attention, exposure. And then she said that corny ass shit, why would I sleep with a player when my husband can own the team? Girl, that ain't convincing nobody. That ain't convincing me, ma'am. That ain't convincing me. What you should have said is, why would I jeopardize my family? I love my husband. We've built a beautiful life. Why would I jeopardize that? You know what I'm saying? That's what you should have been saying. Instead of Thompson, why would you sleep with a player before and your husband can own the team? Man, people cheat for various of reasons. And believe it or not, a lot of people will cheat down. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people will go with somebody who does not have the success that their partner have, or does not have the look that their partner have. You don't have, they don't just cheat with motherfuckers that look better than you, or look the same as you, or doing better than you, or doing the same as you. Plenty of people will cheat down. So that was not an excuse, and that was just lame as hell for her to say. She thought she ate that dough. Give me that plate, Shamia, because you did not eat that. Because she wants to be seen. Exactly. She wants, and that, I think so as well, because like I said, she was very strategic about the things she did to lead her to her fame. So exactly the exposure that came along with being a professional cheerleader for the for the team, and then turn around to being a host for the team. That gets you a lot of exposure, and that gets you in a lot of rooms. That gets you to rubbing elbows with a lot of people. So you definitely want to be seen, and you like the attention. And I don't believe if one of those nice looking in shaped men that be on them teams like that, we know how they get down. So I'm sure the compliments be flying, the flirting be out the fucking gate. Like, come on now, Shamea. You want to stay there, and you talking about you be getting your bag, bitch. You got the bag. You got the biggest bag. You don't need another bag, bitch. Like, come on now. You just was bragging about you got an elevator that's like the one from the hotel, this pristine hotel. Did she say the Regis or one of the big fancy hotels? That's the same kind of elevator she got in her house. Like, girl, you ain't doing that for no money. We the people are not that fucking gullible. We're not. I think she just needs to come out. She ain't coming out, baby. She ain't finna let Gerald. She ain't finna let him go. Mm-mm. She's not finna get that, baby. And so I definitely believe there's a little bit of truth to what she said with that, because you with that corny line talk about your husband can own the team and he could, and that still probably wouldn't keep you off of one of them little men. Like, let's get real. And she also left out the conversation, left from when she was talking to Angela. And so she came back and she said production had her leave. I hope they address that at the reunion, because it's like, girl, you seem to have been hot, and it seemed like you was running for something. And what kind of reinforced it for me that she probably was running from something was when Angela sat on the couch and she was over there talking to Phaedra, Portia, and she was telling them what she basically said to Shamea. And guess who else is hurrying up, getting up to run out the room? Portia. And then Portia's getting up, running out the room, and she said it's because she don't want to make no type of face or anything like that. Yeah, girl, because you know the truth. Like, I definitely believe that she has been cheating on her husband, and I believe that Portia knows. And it's just like Portia is not going to take it there, because that would take them to another level, and that would cause a whole bunch of secrets, because they've been friends for a long time. So that will cause a whole bunch of skeletons to come rolling out both of their closets. So I believe that's the real reason Portia got up and left, and because she knows that her friend ain't shit. But she don't want to be there for that, because she don't want her ass to start spilling her secrets. So I really want to know. I still feel like she got up and left because it's some truth to that. And so they go on. They talk about colorism within the audience, and so Shamea is saying that she basically does believe that plays a part, and I can't really take that away from her, because she's lived her whole life as a dark skinned woman, and I'm not gonna act like I don't know that colorism does exist in our community. Um, I'm not dark skinned, but I'm not light. You know what I'm saying? But I've had friends that are darker than me, and I've heard people say the same thing that Shamia says, like, oh, such and such is pretty for a dark skinned girl. I've heard that. So I know that colorism runs rampant in a lot of communities, and we're not the only communities that go through that. But I also don't think that's not why the audience is not gravitating to Shamia the way she thought they would. I think when it comes to that, she kind of put herself up against Portia. And I think she said, like, Portia's pretty, Portia has the lifestyle, Portia has the body, and Portia is funny. And I think she feels that she possesses a lot of those same qualities. And I feel like she thought they were going to gravitate to her just as well as they gravitated to Portia. And so now that is not happening, she can't really grasp other than to think, oh, it's because, colorism or something like that. And it's just like kind of like them people, like I don't know. I think that's what bothers her too when it comes to the audience, like her getting that backlash that she gets, especially on like social media and stuff. And so she kind of on her Marsha type shit, but it's Portia. Yeah, because it's like, girl, I don't think that's why. You're very pretty, and I don't think it's because you're darker that people don't like you. And she went into speaking a lot about her accolades and stuff like that. And she was saying that she been doing this. She danced in the movie Drumline. She was signed straight out of high school. um she sings and stuff like that. And so she was like, people be saying like, oh, she wants to be famous. And that's when she started listing her accolades, and she was basically trying to say like, oh, I've been famous, which is not true, because a lot of people didn't know who Shamea was. And so you've done some things. You've been in the industry and in the game for a long time, but that doesn't make you famous. You were definitely still chasing the fame, which is why you wanted to be on the show. But kudos to her because she does have accolades and she's done a lot, and she's been successful on her own in that kind of sense as well. And so she was bragging a little bit. That's okay though, pop your shit. But she was like, basically like you can ask around in Atlanta, like you can ask anybody around here, like this my city. That's what she was saying, like, oh, this my city. Like I was like, okay, Shamea. She hit that motherfucking Natalie Nunn. I run LA, she hit that. That means she's definitely cheating allegedly. Say I'm not about to play with you. It's why would I mess with anybody when I got everything I need and want at home? Exactly. That's how she should have answered it. Like, baby, don't you see this beautiful ass, comfortable ass life I live? I'm very much happy and content with my life. Why would I risk that? Why would I risk breaking up my home with my two kids and my man? She didn't say none of that. That girl said, why would I sleep with a player when my man can own the team? Girl, because they're convenient and you might find them more physically attractive than your husband. And why she just her body done was already sick. And then she said she only got lipo. She didn't get a BBL. Good evening, T from TV. Hi, how are you doing? Hi, Mary White. How you doing? How you doing, y'all? Thank y'all for joining. We on here talking about these housewives. Now we already covered the reunions. Y'all might have to go back, catch the replay. She should be. She in the streets more than she at home. Child, yep, that's what they saying. And we see she always out, babe. She out enjoying Gerald money. And she got Gerald ass at home with the kids. Yes, ma'am. So she talked to Carlos because he asked when did she meet what he asked Shamea when did she meet Portia. And so she explained that their mothers were indeed friends, and they were friends, but they weren't close. And she said she think like her sister kind of hung out more with Portia. She was saying she was away at college and all that stuff, but they was close. And then she said, but they didn't get real close until Portia had her divorce, when she was divorcing her husband Cordell. So when she said that, I kind of went back because I'm like, when she was divorcing Cordell, at that time, Portia was already at the show. And I think that's what Shamea conveniently left out, was that when she decided to get close to Portia, Portia was already on the Housewives, because Portia and her then husband Cordell, they did 2 seasons together before they separated. I think, when did Portia come on? 4, 3 or 4? Let me see. Yeah, I think so. So conveniently, she wants to frame it, and I do think that's intentional. I don't know. Maybe I can be reading too much in it, but I definitely think that was intentional for her to phrase and shape the way how she told when they got close. Because instead of saying, oh, after she became a housewife on the show, that's when we got real close because she knows how that would have come off and been perceived by the audience. It's like, oh, here is this girl that always wanted to be famous and has been putting her ducks in a row to make sure she becomes famous. Now you want to befriend and be close with this woman you've been new for years, but now you want to get close to her because she's on this show. But instead of saying that, like, yeah, we got close after she got on the show, she reframed it and said, oh, yeah, we got close after she divorced Cordell. You mean after she had already did like 2 seasons on Real Housewives of Atlanta? So is that possibly the reason you decided to get closer with Portia? Was because she was on this reality show that, in your own words, was being filmed and based out of your city, you know? So I do think that Shamea had ulterior motives for getting close with Portia. And I do think that she was on her social climbing type shit. Because people that want to be in the business and people that want to be famous, they know the power in networking. They know the power in being close with people that are already in the rooms that you are trying to be in. They know that power. And like she pointed out, she ain't new to this. She true to this. So, she had already had a little success. Like you said, she danced in Drumline. She acted in that movie and other movies. She's done stuff. So I do think that she saw that, hey, this girl that I've known for many years, but never seemed to become close with, but I know, we got some little family ties. She's on this new and popping show, and I want to be on TV. So let me go get close with her. And so I do think she kind of used Portia as her gateway to get on TV. Mm, what y'all saying? So it might be giving cloud chasing. Yeah, it definitely gives social climbing at the very least. And Shamia was married to a player before. Yeah, she spoke on that too. Said she was married or something. Or I thought she's now she said she was married before, but I didn't know it was the player because I know when she discussed dating a player, I forgot what team she said he played for, but she said that was brief. So I don't think that was the man she was married to because she said that was brief, the only player. And because she said I learned quick that I didn't want an athlete. That's what she said. And so, okay, so she got close with Portia after Portia was already on Housewives. And then so Carlos asked her, when did you basically tell Portia that you wanted to be on the show and stuff? And so basically she never told. It seeming like, these are my opinions, but it seems like she never told Portia because what she said out of her own mouth was she was going to get an audition. She had heard about them auditioning through another person. And so, excuse me. And so she had linked up with that other person, not Portia. She had linked up with another girl and was going to go to the auditions for Real Housewives. And she told Portia. And so Portia told her, like, basically, like, she didn't want the show to ruin their friendship. And then Shamia was like, no, well, I don't think it will. And I 100% think that Portia said that, one, because I do think that was true. The show is very much messy and they very much, pit the women against each other. And that's in all reality TV. It's messy. They put the cast members against these stuff. They'll poke with them, start a little drama. And so I think that was true. I think that was one of the reasons. And then she said, Portia told her that once she said, well, I don't think it would ruin, our friendship or anything. And she said Portia told her, well, like, well, this is kind of my thing. Like, I'm doing this. This is my lane. Like, you got so much other stuff that you do and going on. The Real Housewives is my thing. Basically, like, bitch, back up. Like, I don't want you on the show. And I think that if y'all were close at that time and were in a good standing with each other, I don't think that would have been the case for Portia to say. I think that at that point in time, there must have already been like some stuff festering between them two. Now, this is just my opinion. Maybe Portia really just didn't want her on the show for no other reason at all. But I do believe, like, in their friendship, they had already had some stuff going on between them that they possibly wasn't really bringing to life. A lot of that. And like with women, and even as well, more it's more so as like girls, younger girls' behavior. They don't tend to speak on a lot of stuff that bothers them, especially within their friendships. They kind of like gloss over stuff and don't really talk things out and get to the core of the issues of what's bothering them with that other person. And so they'll let little stuff fester and fester and fester until finally it comes into like this big thing and they have a blowout. You know what I'm saying? And I think that kind of was them at that point. I think they kind of had some stuff going on between the both of them that they weren't really speaking on, but they were still cool with each other and considered themselves friends. But I think that's why Portia didn't want her on the show. I think she 100% feel like this is my thing, and this possibly could have been some other stuff that she peeped in Shamea that she wasn't really rocking with, and she was like, "Yeah, no, this is my lane. You stay in that lane." So Shamea talks on that, and then she was saying how like that kind of pushed her back and stuff, and then a few seasons later, she ended up getting offered the peach, I believe, again. Maybe Portia felt the way that she went through someone else instead of her, and since she did it that way, that the show it cracked between them, and that's possibly the only reason the show picked her. I believe that's why I said I don't think she ever told Portia that she wanted to be on the show, because that seems like the reaction of somebody that's like, okay, yeah, this is my thing, and like, oh, you never mentioned wanting to be on the show, and then oh, you didn't even ask me to go about it. It's on some you got in through another way. It kind of, I can kind of see both sides of it, and more so Portia's side of it as well, because but that's me looking from the outside, knowing that Shamea possibly befriended her because she wanted to be on the show. So that's how I'm looking at it, because I do believe that she befriended Portia as her way to kind of get on the show. Like I said, people know the power of networking. They know you need to rub elbows with people that's already in the room. Like Shamea had already been around the ladies and stuff and seeing how it works through Portia. So I think Portia kind of peeped that as well. And that's probably why it kind of put like a little sour taste in her mouth, to the point that she was like, yeah, this my thing. What you doing? So, hey, it gets like that sometimes. And so then what happened after that? And we know women can be territorial. So then the situation that caught her up in a lie, which Shamea kind of exposed herself. Miss Mary said Shamea needs to be home with her children and husband and give that man a boy before he checks out. And they discussed that too, Miss Mary. Do she feel pressured to give him a son? And she says no and all that stuff like that, but I think she is. But the whole thing with the Candy and Todd situation, because they said that Shamea was even accused of sleeping with Candy and Todd, and she said like when Portia was in the room, and she said, "Oh well, there she's close to both of them." That's what Portia said about Shamea. She said that she was close to both Todd and Candy. So Shamea said, oh, that's when she basically was like, "Oh, kind of like, oh, we beefing, like what the fuck, I would never say nothing about her like that." So then she claims that that's when Candy was in the room. And what did Candy say about Portia? What did Candy say? Y'all, damn, I thought I wrote it down. But whatever Candy said about Portia, Shamea didn't, chime in. She basically drunk her drink. And like basically like she kissed her or she did something with her or something like that. And Carlos was like, well, because Carlos asked Shamea, how did she know Portia said that about her? When did she find out that Portia said, well, Shamea's close to both of them, talking about Candy and Todd. And Shamea lied and said she watched it. She said she seen it on social media, and then she went and watched the episode because he asked, did Candy tell her? And Shamea lied and said Candy did not tell her that she saw it on social media and then went and watched it herself. But then she came back when they talked about the next scene between Shamea and Candy, when Shamea didn't defend or speak up for Portia. She said, well, Portia already had said what she said first. She got her lick, I got my lick back. Carlos said, but you would not have known because it was filmed in the same season. So how did you know Portia basically through that lick if it was filmed in the same season, and you're saying that you did not find out until you watched it on social media? So she lied because Candy did tell you what Portia said. So that's why Candy came out today and was like, "How I got in?" I said, "Girl, you know how you got it. Your ass got in it because that's your friend, and y'all, you know." So that Shamea caught herself up in a lie, and that was something so stupid to lie about. I don't know why she didn't want to say like, "Yeah, I found out through Candy." It's like, girl, why not? Y'all friends. If she told you, she told you. I guess you tried to not throw her under the bus, but you still ended up getting her exposed for being the one that told you, and now you expose yourself for being a fucking liar. Because it's like, that was a lie, girl. And so Carlos didn't even call that out, and it's clear he had the thought because he told her, well, that was filmed in the same season. And then when she said what she said, he just didn't even push or do any type of follow-up questions. Y'all know how he is. He's a very lazy fucking interviewer. Like, cause he wants to be these women's friends. Like, he looks up to these women, he idolizes their lifestyles. So he wants to play nice with them, to be their friends, to again rub elbows and be in those same rooms with them. So he doesn't really push hard on his interviews, and he'll let shit like that skate by. Hi, Braylon. Thank you so much. Said, for some people, it's easier to live the fantasy of something than to be in reality of it. That is so true. Because Candy always trying to act like she don't do shit, but I think she keeps up a lot of shit. I definitely think that they whole little group. Because what's going on? Why is it always somebody coming out about somebody in Atlanta messing with Todd and Candy? I said, let me find out that they be down there in the ATL and they all a bunch of freakaleaks, baby. Y'all all out there. I said, baby, between Candy and her fucking dungeon and T.I. and little Tiny Bite, baby, they ain't never stopped having they little freak meet. It seemed like they all joined that more than just the hips, because y'all out there getting it in. Apparently, that's what it looked like. Because Candy, what the fuck you and your nigga always getting accused of messing with somebody or having threesomes and orgies and stuff with people? Like, it's giving y'all be out there being more than motherfucking friends. Y'all out there hunching or something, baby. Because why everybody got a story about them? They like T.I. and Tiny, baby. They flipping and dipping them. And then Carlos was saying that he thinks that like context be missing, and that may be the reason that Shamea gets kind of misunderstood. And then Shamea was saying, oh, well, because, I feel that we can handle stuff off camera and, stuff like that. So that's why a lot of context be missing for the viewers. And it's like, no, if the argument starts and originates on the show, people, of course, viewers are going to want to know the outcome of said situation. Why do you feel like you got the right, Shamia? You got the right, but why do you feel like, oh, we could just handle it off the show? And it's like, no, why you can't handle it on the show? It was brought up on the show. Y'all signed up for reality TV. So if it was exposed on the show, why y'all got a problem with talking it through on the show? And it's like, I don't think that she really. I think Shamia went into this just thinking everybody was gonna love her, and I did you really weigh the pros and cons of reality TV? Because sometimes it doesn't go the way you think it does, and it's like she seemed so shocked that people just don't all love her, and it's like I did think that Shamia was gonna be one of the fan favorites when it she first came on, but it quickly turned to like, oh no, because when I seen that, like, it was her beefing with Portia, and that's another thing. I don't think that's why I think they had a lot of stuff festering over the years between Portia and Shamia, because it seemed like off bat, even she seemed so irritated with Portia. She seemed like she was already over the friendship, but she wasn't ready to publicly say it. That's what it gave to me, because when she was like so annoyed with Portia when she was getting that car. On that episode where she got that car, was it her birthday? And Portia walked up in the midst of Shamia getting her gift, and they had tried to paint it like, oh, Portia is so selfish and she's never here to celebrate Shamia, and she just walking up right in the middle of Shamia's celebration. And it felt like, you know what, like, y'all been had stuff going on. Why not just say it and work through it and talk about it? It gives that they both were overlooking stuff and they was letting shit fester for too long, to the point to they grew to not really liking each other. But they were just frenemies by that point. That's what it seemed like. By the time Shamia got on the show, it seems like her and Portia was just frenemies. Tay said, and Candy stayed tight with Tiny and T.I. when all that same stuff came out about them. Exactly. Tay, that's why I said they all giving freak leaks out there, baby. That's why y'all little circle so tight. Y'all around playing with each other. And so, yeah, so Shamia not can't really fare well with the audience not agreeing with her and liking her like that. But it's like, girl, chin up, chest out. You wanted this fame shit so fucking bad, you got it. But that's why you gotta be careful what you wish for, because they'll give it to you. And so Shamia worked hard to get on TV, and she finally got on TV. And now it seems like she's looking like, oh yeah, because now she was saying how she was even talking about leaving it, and her husband was telling her to stay on and stuff. And I kind of much think like that's probably a lie anyway, though. So then when they talk about K Michelle, and she said that K Michelle wanted to go with her wherever she was going to reach over Candy, because she was telling K Michelle that, oh, my friends don't want me to be friends with you and stuff. And we know the friend she's talking about is really Rashida, and then nobody wants to. Well, Rashida and Toya, Lil Wayne's baby mama, and Candy, because Candy is friends with both of them. But I think like that shit is so fucking juvenile. And I'm not saying you can't be loyal to your friends, but at the end of the day, Rashida was dead ass fucking wrong for that shit that went on Love and Hip Hop with her and K Michelle. I actually like watched that shit in real time. Rashida didn't even give K Michelle a chance on the show. Like, she was already like, I don't like this girl, simply because Toya, who is ex Wayne, who is Lil Wayne's ex, Regina mama, Toya was married to the guy. What's his name? Memphis or whatever. And so we all know that was K Michelle's ex. And K Michelle came out and said that that man was beating her ass. And Rashida immediately took offense to that because she was friends with Toya. And so she told this girl that that wasn't true. Like, how, because just because your friend is fucking dating and then turned around and married this man, can you say that his ex, who was K Michelle, was lying about her physical, emotional, of and whatever else abuse. And she was dead ass wrong with that. And she never offered that girl an apology, and she got so fucking mad because K Michelle ate her ass up. I'm talking about chewed on her. She chewed that bitch out. And that's what really bothered Rashida, because K Michelle ate her ass the fuck up and had so many viral moments at the time, and they're still viral to this day. People still come out and say something about Kurt and his three earrings. People still come out and say that Rashida rap like Shawty Low. My name Rashida. I rap like Shawty Low. People still say that shit on TikTok every other day. So I believe it's not even the fact that, bitch, you were wrong, Rashida. You just mad because that girl ate your ass up and you were wrong. And then here you have Candy co-signing the shit. It's cool, pick a side. Because like I said, it seems that they all were close way before that, and they hold each other deep dark secrets. So that's another reason why they just grown ass women acting like they in high school, because it's like, oh no, I can't even get to know her or be around her because she did my friend wrong. And it's like your friend Rashida inserted her motherfucking self. I never seen Toya come out and address K Michelle. She had her fucking guard dog Rashida, and Rashida was doing all the addressing because she was on the show with K. And it's like, oh well, but at the same time, they are acting like fucking middle school girls and acting all clicky. But at the same time, K Michelle, fuck them. Why do you care? Why do you care? It's like, fuck them. Like, you don't need them. I understand that may kind of, it gives off kind of like, oh, these are the popular kids in Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? These are the popular crowd, and I want to be in it. But at the same time, it's like, fuck them, because if them bitches want to act all clicky about some shit that they basically started, you were speaking on your lived truth. Like, you live with that man, you went through that. If you were speaking on some real shit like that, and Rashida tried to go against it for a man and then turned out to be fucking wrong, because we seen when Toya and him went on that show, how he bucked up on Toya ass and how he got in her motherfucking face and how he did all that. I damn sure believe he went Ike Turner on a bitch. Yes, I do believe he did it. I sure do. Because how he acted on Toya, he acted like if the motherfucking cameras weren't there, he would have did her something worse. So it's like, K, fuck them. Like, you shouldn't even want to be around them weird ass bitches. They weird at this point. Let them have it. They all feeling and touching and kissing on each other. That's what it seems to be. So it's like they don't want to let you in their little secret club because they got all that going on. Let them bitches be. Fuck them. But Shamea says that she wants to get to know Kay. She don't have no problem with Kay and all that shit. We shall see. Yeah, Rashida was wrong, and it turned out that K Michelle wasn't lying about him. Exactly. Because, baby, when he got up in Toya's face, I thought he was going to knock her ass between the washer and the dryer. She ate her up when she tried to check her. Remember, she told him that don't nobody care about their lesbian relationship. Man, I be watching. I see them clips so much on fucking TikTok, and I'm never going to scroll past them because the way she chewed Rashida ass out, and I watched that shit in real time when it was happening. That was like the best days of fucking reality TV. When I tell you, K Michelle was on her motherfucking ass, and she did not let the fuck up, and she was so fucking funny with it. Man, that girl, I'm talking about, had the best fucking moments. And Rashida, dumbass, that's exactly what she get. Because you inserted your motherfucking self and got your ass ate up. And where was Toya? I didn't see Toya nowhere around to take up for Rashida ass. Now you got this shit on fucking social media where people don't even take you fucking serious, Rashida, no more. All we know you for is that girl said, Rashida got bags. Her husband a girl. Her career is over all over the world. Bag lady. Bag lady. Man, listen. Anytime bitch gonna ad lib a motherfucking song about your ass on the motherfucking piano and have people talking about this shit motherfucking 10, 12, 15 years later, that's what the fuck you get, Rashida. That's what the fuck you get. Cause y'all gonna learn to keep y'all mouth off people's shit. That was something that Rashida never should have spoke on, because she didn't know that wasn't your man, and why the fuck are you trying to take up for a man that you don't know what he did? So yeah, that whole thing with her saying about Candy, and then Candy want to talk about how she get in it. Bitch, you got in it with your big ass head. You got in it, Candy. Fucking bobblehead. Your ass in it. You know why you in it. Quit trying to play fucking innocent. They get on my nerve. But K Michelle, fuck them. Like, you do not need a friend, baby. You're rich and talented. Go out there and live how the fuck you want to live. Okay. And so then we finally gets to fucking Kelly. And so Shamea wants to talk about Kelly and how, that's the best thing. This girl really said that's the best thing that came out of her being on the show. And it's like, girl, get the fuck out of here. So baby, Kelly is definitely playing her hand right. She got Shamea up here singing her motherfucking praises on her interview. And so Shamea is not Shamea, Kelly. Kelly is also a social climber, and that is why she gravitated to Shamea. It is no coincidence that you latched yourself on to probably the most wealthiest housewife at this point on the show. And Kelly seen that motherfucking house, and she said, "Oh yeah, this is my motherfucking friend, baby." She started using that friend fast as hell. She knew, she locked in on Shamea as the target, and she like, yeah, I'm finna become friends with this bitch. I'm going to get me something out of it. Just like Carlos trying to get him a man at that vow renewal. He said, baby, I seen what you did for Kelly. Can you work a miracle for me? Okay. And so Shamea actually introduced Kelly to this man. Carlos was trying to give her to get some little details on this man. Shamea wasn't letting up off of it. But sis, baby, Kelly got her a new man and some new teeth out the deal. So when people be like, well, Kelly, why y'all think Kelly is faking a social climber? Because she is. She used Shamea, and now she got a new man and some fucking new teeth. She is. She knew what she was doing. Listen, these women know how to play the fucking game. They know exactly what they're doing and how to do it. And she knew Shamea could put her in the fucking room with somebody and get her all hooked up. She's Madam Mimi. That's who Shamea is. Madam Mimi. She got the niggas on a Rolodex. If you need a rich boo, she got you. So that networking paid off for Kelly. I don't really like her. So she can act like gaslight us like Kelly is just the best thing in the friends. No, she's definitely your little lap dog. She's your little sidekick, and you really want her because you're not close with anybody else on the show. You been wanting to end your friendship with Portia. You used the show to do that because then you did not need her no more. Y'all see what I'm saying? It's so interesting how Shamea wanted to become BFFs with Portia when Portia had got on the show, and you maintained and held that relationship all the way up until the point where you got your ass on the show. Now you was ready to let that go because Carlos asked her, if she missed Portia, and she's like, oh well, I'm fine where we're at. I bet you are the fuck fine where you're at. You got what the fuck you wanted. You got the peach, and that was your whole reason of getting close with Portia and maintaining that friendship. You wanted to be on TV. You wanted to be famous, and you got that. So you were okay with now walking away and ending that friendship, and you've been wanting to do it. So that's why I say that Shamea ass is not fucking innocent in this stuff. And she is always that person, this person, what they did. I was only reacting. I was getting my lick back, but it's like, no, something else ain't right in the water. She brought Kelly and Britt on the show to get at Portia. Yeah, at first she tried to act like she was taking up for Portia, but that shit was so fake. Like I said, she had already been ready to end that motherfucking friendship. And once she let that go, she noticed that Kelly is a fucking social climber junior because Shamea is a social climber. So yeah, she recognizes one. Game recognizes game. And she decided that she had some use for Kelly as well, which is why Kelly also had all this smoke for fucking Portia because Shamia's like, yeah, bitch, I'll let you be my little junior bacon cheeseburger. I'll let you be up on me. You know what I'm saying? I introduce you. I'll let you tag along with me to go be around these ball players to hopefully room with these rich men to maybe snag you one, and you're going to do something for me. And I believe that was the reason Kelly was going at Portia so hard. She knew her motherfucking assignment. A fair trade and a robbery. She's gonna do your little underhand dirty work and attack Portia, whereas Shamea can't go directly at her because she's still trying to fake like she's heartbroken and grieving the friendship when she's not. So she has Kelly, her little minion, do it, and then she get Kelly some new choppers. And so I'm like, okay, I see you, Shamea. And so y'all, before we get out of here, let's talk about fucking Gerald. So it comes up how Gerald never really wanted to be on the camera and how people on social media bring up how they don't think Gerald, wants Shamea to be on the show and stuff like that. And so, they talk about Gerald and she says, no, Gerald is actually the one, telling me I need to stick it out and see it out. So y'all know how we talked about Shamea saying that corny ass line saying that, oh, why would I sleep with a player when my man could own the team? She ain't said nothing loving about her fucking husband. Why the fuck when Carlos and Shamia about to wrap up the interview, they go trot their little ass back to where Gerald is in his office. And Carlos asks Gerald just a few questions. And then Gerald didn't know what the fuck to say. And it's like, if y'all knew y'all was gonna be on TV, y'all need to get some fucking media training. Y'all can rehearse and bounce answers and questions off yourself. It's not hard to really know what people are gonna ask, especially somebody like Carlos. He's gonna keep it, kind of friendly for the most part. So it's like, why wasn't y'all prepared for these little questions? You know what I'm saying? But why when Carlos asks Gerald, like, how did he know that Shamea was the one? Like, what about her made Gerald know, like, okay, this is gonna be my wife. This is my wife. Do y'all know that Gerald was over there stumbling and fumbling and can barely even ask that motherfucking answer that fucking question? He was over there saying, and he was saying more ahs, oohs than anything. He was and it's like, Gerald, you can't think of nothing that made this girl stand out, that you don't remember what made you say, oh, this is gonna be my wife. He's like, and it's like, no, we don't know. Tell us. And then he's gonna say the first thing out of his mouth is she comes from a good family. And he said, she comes from a good family, and she's a good person at her core. And I'm fortunate to have her. That's all he had to say about his wife. And he couldn't even get that out. He was stumbling, and you could tell his brain was just shooting all type of sparks, trying to think of something that he could say. And it's that right there kind of sealed the deal. Like, yeah, these motherfuckers, hey, this is not no fucking love marriage. He didn't say, oh, she's smart and she's beautiful, her personality or her heart is why I married her. I knew I was. That nigga said, she comes from a good family, and she's a good person at her core, and I'm lucky to have her. That's all he had to say about his young, beautiful, talented black queen. That's all Gerald can come up with. And it's like, y'all motherfuckers, yeah. I think if anything gave a reason, Shamea, why you would cheat, it's clearly ain't no real fucking love kind of exists in this marriage. It seemed like Gerald, because I think they said he was already like damn near 45 when he married her or something like that. So it seemed like Gerald had reached an age where he knew it was time for him to settle down and sow them seeds, because yeah, they do. care a lot about their lineage and their family. That's why he says it's very much sought after for Africans. They want to have a boy. And that's what most men though, they want to have a boy to carry on their name. So I think Gerald knew, like, I'm getting older now. I ain't finna get no fucking younger. It's time to settle down. I do want kids. And I think that out of everybody, Shamia probably was like kind of the best candidate, obviously. And he's like, okay, she got some sense of family value because she mentioned that her mom and dad are still married and her grandparents are still married. So, it seems like that was probably like one of the only qualifications Gerald was looking for, like somebody that knew what it meant to have a family unit. You know what I'm saying? I don't think Gerald went on the search for a wife with a lot of qualifications. I think he said, I got the money, and long as she's pretty and attractive and have some type of family values, that was good enough for him. That seemed like that's all he really was checking for when it came to being a wife. Because he couldn't really tell Carlos with nothing. I know some people say, "Oh, he probably was nervous. He don't like the cameras." Like, but that's your wife, and this has been your wife for many, 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 many years. That's a simple ass question. That's nothing to be nervous about. Carlos took it very, very easy on him. Like he should have been able to answer that without even a thought. You would think, or at least I think. So I don't know, y'all. That was my interpretation of the interview with Carlos and Shamia. I just feel like, he kept it light. I don't think Shamia is as innocent in these situations as she portrays herself to be. I think she came into this thinking that everybody was going to immediately love her because in her mind she has all um the things that it takes to be a it girl. And so she thought everybody was just going to gravitate to her. She was going to show us her house and how she dresses and what she drives and show us a little bit that she's silly and she can throw shade and stuff like that. And she thought she was going to be the fan favorite. And that's not how it worked out for her. I do think she brought the comments on herself about her marriage. I do not think that she is 100% happy within her marriage. I do think she loves her lifestyle, but I do think it's quite possible that she was out there messing with them ball players. I do think Kelly and her both are social climbers, and I think Shamia has been over the friendship and probably never even really cared about Portia. I think she got close to Portia because she wanted fame, and I think that chasing fame is what Shamia has been doing for a very, very long time. And yeah, I think she likes the attention and the exposure. And I don't think she's 100% with her home life when it comes to her husband. And vice versa. I don't think her husband is like, so much in awe with her. But those are just my opinions, y'all. We're going to wrap this up and get on out of here. Y'all go ahead, hit the like button for me. And yeah, subscribe to the channel if y'all haven't already. And I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye.